South Africa, also known as the Rainbow Nation for its extremely diverse set of cultures, ethnicities, religions, and languages. Ever since the country's first democratic election in 1994, it has been regarded as one of the most culturally accepting nations in the world. South Africa is one of the wealthiest nations in Africa, competing with Nigeria. The nation is rich in natural resources and shows signs of being a developed nation with great infrastructure. But it is a nation far from perfect. There are major social issues marginalizing groups of people that can be found in South Africa post-apartheid. One of the biggest issues being economic inequality. Economic inequality refers to the unequal distribution of wealth among citizens of a nation. With South Africa being the most unequal economy in the world, it means that there are people in extreme poverty living right next to wealthy or upper middle class people. This, in turn, generates a divide among people living in the nation. People living in poverty are marginalized as they are not presented with the same opportunities, lifestyle, and education to those whom are born with privilege. In most first world countries, economic inequality occurs between extremely rich and middle class citizens. In South Africa, the inequality lies between the middle class getting richer and the poor getting poorer. On a personal level, I stay in a middle class suburb in Johannesburg. I stay in a decent house and my parents make an average salary. This allows me the opportunity to attend and afford good quality education, gives me access to 3 meals a day, and gives me access to opportunities of acquiring a job in future. On the other hand, I'm walking distance away from a township where there are children that live on the streets, have no access to education, and do not eat a sufficient amount of nutrients to live a healthy lifestyle. The question on many people's minds is, how did this happen? Obviously, apartheid has played a major role in the uneven distribution of wealth in South Africa, as 80% of the population in South Africa are black and 60% of those black people are in poverty. Whereas only 9% of the nation is white and only 1% of those are in poverty. Apartheid caused there to be an unfair distribution of education and job opportunities for those that are of color. It has been more than 25 years since the end of apartheid system and more than 10 years since the BBBEE Act has been implemented, and the inequality still seems to grow. This is the result of the nation's dualistic economy. A dualistic economy refers to the existence of two distinct types of economic segments within an economy. This involves agriculture sector and manufacturing sector. Like most colonized nations, South Africa was introduced to a dualistic economy in the 1900s. This was when workers that specialized in unproductive, low-income agricultural sector were moving more towards the more productive and profitable manufacturing sector. This shift from agriculture only worked in favor of those who were skilled. Since people of color were oppressed, they did not have the same opportunities to make this shift properly and instead worked low-income jobs. These jobs, on the other hand, caused there to be a gentrification of rural areas where people of color lived. Townships began to form to become the townships we see today. Here's an interview from 2017 that better describes the living conditions of townships in the Western Cape.
Toilets.
It's almost 6 families came to the one toilet. It's used one toilet. It's 6 families.
Sometimes the taps are full because there are many people around the area.
In the winter time, we are in a flood every year.
People that are in poverty or living in poverty are kind of the bottom of the pecking order in terms of priorities, and also even voicing objection to the services that they're getting because no one's really listening to them, so it doesn't really change that much.
Within these townships, informal economies would grow, where stores such as puzzle shops are developed. These stores generate low income, and a lack of education within the townships results in the owners being unequipped with the necessary skills for them to be able to grow their businesses. The lack of education disallows unfortunate people from acquiring higher income jobs or even skill-based jobs such as plumbing that are in high demand today. The few of those who do have access to education attend schools that are overpopulated and do not have the necessary resources to educate learners adequately.
My name is Zonke and I'm from Langa. In my street in Langa, I'm the only girl who's still at school and who isn't pregnant.
The reality of our country is that education is in 2010 worse off than it was in 1994. If you're a black child living in South Africa, you have a 1 in 30 chance of getting a matric qualification.
At school where I work, it's very difficult because of the lack of the resources. We don't even have a library.
There are no books in the home, so reading is not something that comes naturally.
Even the number of the students in the classes made a very big struggle, because then if you're 60 in a class, it's very hard to get the teacher's attention.
I didn't have stationery, and my mom was using alcohol, and my stepfather was using drugs. I would ask my mother for my stationery.
I remember in our class we were 55 and we had 10 science textbooks.
Then she would tell me next week, next month.
It's impossible for 50-something students to share 10 textbooks.
Some people stop going to school because they don't have the right shoes. Sometimes it's actually just too difficult to get out of bed because of just the misery of waking up wet and cold.
The teachers started throwing me out of the class. One morning, there was no electricity at home, even something to eat.
Now, if this is a constant environment in which you live, coming to school is simply another area which you have to learn to navigate.
On top of that, people born in this poverty are discouraged from growing out of their poverty cycle that they are trapped in. Their environment has no role models to look up to. Instead, they are influenced by their peers to join a life of crime to satisfy their needs. Now that we understand the issue, what have people done in an effort to eradicate it? Shell's downstream South African social investment has contributed skills and resources to communities to provide long-lasting benefits to those communities. They focus on maths and science education and youth enterprise development in South Africa. Their maths and science program entails building educator and learner capacity in science, technology, engineering, and maths in lower income areas in KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, Northern Cape, and Free State. They have helped lessen scarce skills and created jobs for those that have been trained at Shell. Their most interesting program to me is their Live Wire social investment program. This program equips youth with the necessary skills that they need to start and run sustainable businesses. This way, they are encouraging entrepreneurship, and the entrepreneurs that they assist create jobs as well for those in need, decreasing South Africa's 28% unemployment rate. Here's one of the individuals who has been assisted through this program.
I acquired learning through Shell Livewire. It's now a year that I've been with them, and during that year I have learned so much. I have learned what it really means to be an entrepreneur. I'm a mom to 2 beautiful children. I'm a sister, and I'm an entrepreneur.
The program was introduced to South Africa in 1995 and revitalized in 2014. In the most basic explanation, what they do is enroll 50 candidates to partake in 40 hours of workshop training. Then 20 candidates are taken to a follow-up workshop, teaching them how to make a business plan. Then those 20 candidates are guided through their process of starting a business by Shell. And lastly, the candidates then receive support for 3 years in the running of their business to become sustainable. I believe that this is a perfect program needed in my community. There are plenty of small businesses in my area and are unable to grow because the owners are not skilled enough to grow their company. Once they receive the training and assistance from Shell, they can become more profitable and also grow to the point where they hire more staff, reducing unemployment in the area. Shell assistance in maths and science will also provide the youth in community more opportunities to better their lifestyle, as they will be able to acquire well-paying jobs. In addition to the Shell program, I will invest my time in collecting and donating canned food. I feel as though this is a realistic goal to pursue that will help children who do not have balanced diets attain balanced diets and attain the nutrition that they need to live healthily. I can also provide tutorship for kids struggling in maths in lower income parts of my community. In the long term, I plan on developing many businesses under my name in order to provide more jobs to those in need, and form CSR programs such as Livewire to assist more people make successful businesses in future. This way, there are less people under extreme cases of poverty, and therefore creating a more even economy.